All right, look, thanks for coming back. So what I want to do today, guys, is get into sampling. I want to show you two ways that you can sample. Pretty simple. This one shouldn't be too long. If it's your first time to the channel, of course, subscribe. Why not? Like the video if you like it, and share it with a friend. Perhaps get it over on X, uh, share it on Reddit. Who knows, guys? Let's just get into some music production. Of course, winning with blends. Back again, Justin Blends. So again, like I said, we're going to get into some production. We're going to get into some sampling. So as you see, I've got a sample right here, and I'm going to show you guys two ways, maybe a third, but definitely just two ways. I think these are the main two ways, and there may be a couple of other ideas that we have. Maybe you can actually make your own samples, but we're going to work with samples that we've downloaded, so what or recorded in some other way. So let's go here. Let's just add, for example, I've already had it added, but just to show you how to do it, we're going to add an audio clip, and we'll go to My Files, of course, and then we'll navigate to Samples, and we will find our sample. Okay. And so we've got two instances of the same thing. So what I'm going to do is actually create, let's just say, two more audio clips. This time I will not choose any sample. I will just click off so that I have a blank track. And as well, I'll do the same thing again. I'll click away so we have a blank track. Now we'll use this in a few ways because we're going to chop our pieces. We're going to slice our pieces and put them on different tracks for different reasons. This would allow you to separate the sounds in many ways. You could go ahead and EQ the sounds differently. And maybe if you took drums, perhaps if you cut a hi-hat, you cut a bass drum, and you cut a snare drum, you could then put all of those three samples on different tracks, duplicate them, multiply them, make patterns with them as you wish, but they'll be on their own tracks. And you can, of course, again, add an auxiliary track and pull them all together. That's a little more complicated. I would definitely recommend you guys check my other video on the subject, something about maybe, mixing and mastering techniques, as well as a couple of others. I definitely talk about how to use auxiliary tracks. Now, the second way we're going to prepare for our sample is by using the slicer. Okay, again, we're going to go to My Samples. Again, we're going to find our sample, and here we go. Here we go. Okay, so we've got our sample. Now we're gonna start off with the slicer. Okay, let's go with slicer first. It's less complicated. It's actually complicated in its own way, but it's maybe simpler to do because we have auto chops. But let's just get into it. So first things first, we're working with this sample here. I'll just play it and you'll hear what I mean. So let's go through the slicer a bit. Now, this is where it might be a little complicated. Now, with slicer, you've got a couple of options here. So as you see, if I click mono, let's just make sure that these levels are good for you guys. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've got our sample already pre-sliced. If we adjust the sensitivity, as in if we lower the sensitivity, what we're going to get is actually less slices. Watch how I slice lower and lower and lower. As a matter of fact, let me even do this and show you a couple of key things here as well, so you guys can learn about how to use the slicer and the piano roll to understand what's happening. See, once you see auto selected, let's get the full view in, just to make sure. It's getting crazy. Okay, so here we go, guys. It's about to get wild. I'll be honest with you. Okay, because I have mono selected, every time I select one of the slices, even if it's long, even if the previous one was long, the new slice will cut it off, and essentially it will interrupt it and make sure that only one can trigger at a time. So one can be played. So if I played a longer one and I chopped it off with a shorter one, it'll stop. See? Watch this. It's supposed to go longer, but that's because I have mono. Now, if I take mono off and I select a few, it's going to get a little wild, but you'll see they won't interrupt each other. See? Let's turn on mono and come out of his cut that off, and there we go. As well, if we leave auto on, if I lower the sensitivity, you'll look at the piano roll right here, and you'll notice that the piano roll changes automatically when I have auto set on. So if I put the sensitivity down to, let's say 3 or 4, let's say 5. So now we only have 2 chops, just 2 chops, right? But if we change it to auto, now watch this, we turn auto off and we adjust, well, you'll notice that the chops are appearing here, but they're not automatically getting dumped to the piano roll. So that's something that could change a few things. Maybe not. It depends on how you want to work it. If I click auto, you'll see, boom, instantly. Go down, auto, it's automatically changing the size and the amount of pieces chopped. So let's leave auto on for now. Now sustain as well. If let's go to auto, let's turn auto off, and let's turn auto on, turn mono off, sorry. And I said this wasn't going to take long. Let's dive in. Let's just keep going with it and take as long as we have to get to the point. All right. So if we turn sustain to hold, now watch this. See, I have to hold the note in order for it to actually play. Okay. So, but if I click to end, if I click this one right here, this super short note right there, it's going to play until the end of the song from that point. And if I don't have mono on, it's just going to keep overlapping. See that? Mono's on. But it's still to end. So it's still going to play to the end. There are a few complications, and it depends on how you want to use it. But, you know, adjusting these buttons here allows you a lot of flexibility, whether you're working with vocal samples or drum samples. It just depends, right? There are many ways of using it. Sometimes I leave it off. Sometimes I leave it on hold. Sometimes I leave it and put it to end. It's up to you. Now, let's turn it off for now. And you also have the pitch. So let's just trigger a sample. Let me increase the amount of samples here just so that I have more on my keyboard, as you see down below, okay? Let's do a bit more sensitivity, just so I have more keys. You guys know what decay does, right? It essentially will extend or shorten the tail. So this could work really well for drums, maybe if you want just snappy hits. Makes the guy come out of it. Depends on how you want to use it. Now attack is the same in the sense that it lowers or raises the amount of time it takes for the initial note to hit. Okay, so having this in reverse would be really cool. Lower attack. Build up. So I'll put this back to max. I will raise the attack just a bit in case the chops aren't perfect. I will raise it by 1 so that we don't get any clips at the beginning. But Slicer works really well at finding transients and very key points. So that is one method. And of course, when you're recording, guys, you don't have to use this. You don't have to use this drop the way the piano is rolled out like this at all. You know, you can just not do it. You can, you know, make your own, record your own. So this is actually literally random right now, but let's just give it a try. Oops. And of course I'm doing this. Let me mute these tracks here and let's redo that again. Here we go. Just a quick sample. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to just actually loop that as though it's a real loop. Which is hilarious, but it's not. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to snap this and see if we actually have something interesting here. Guys, if we do, this is amazing. It's right there. That's our loop. And so what we can do here, beautiful thing is, because it's its own track, and it's pitch shifted down 3. Okay, -3. Let's go all of the usuals that we can do. We can do side chain compression. We can add some auto duck. We can add some multi effects. Let's go to some defaults just to try some. Okay. And we're subtle. I'm going to add a few. Let's add some. We could even do picture. So we'll get to picture another day. There's just so many cool things we can do here. So let's do a comb filter. Let's get some interesting delay techniques here. Okay, so that's one. Guys, come on. If you're loving this, just laugh with me, right? You know this is something. We're just going in. Okay, so now that we have that method, okay, we have another method. So let's just say from the very top, we've got an audio file. Let's use the second one. Let's leave the first one blank for now. So what we can do is, of course, we can listen to our sound or song and listen to what we like. So let's just say we like that explosion right off the bat. What we can do is let's zoom in a bit more. Let's make this a little bit bigger, as big as we can, right? So let's zoom in as close as we can so that we can see exactly when this particular sound ends. So let's see, it starts here. Okay, so let's say we want to cut that initial part here. Let's take off snap so that we have more flexibility. And let's say we're going to stop around there. Okay, what we want to do is, again, we're working with this blue one right here. We want to right click at the point, or of course long press, right, depending on whether you're using the desktop or if you have a mouse connected, or you're using your tablet or your mobile phone. Let's just say your mobile device. Essentially, go click more, and of course click slice. Now I'm just going to move this to the empty channel, so now you see it. We've got an explosion here. So let's actually dive in a little bit deeper. Let's cut off the little tail, the intro, the silence, and let's move that right to the beginning. And let's go from the top and listen to what we've got. Okay, so we'll solo this one. Well, this is already muted, so let's just listen. Okay, so what we can do here is, of course, let's go back here. We're not going to go into any of this area here to do anything for this one. Of course, you have pitch, you have pan, you have volume. There's many things you can do. And of course, you can record certain types of automation in a lot of different ways, as you guys know. So for this one, for our explosion, let's just say we want to do something wild with the explosion. Maybe we want to add some distortion to the explosion, maybe some soft distortion. Maybe we want to make it really harsh, and perhaps we want to turn it into a kick drum. So we can get some tube. Guys, this is random, not random. I mean, I'm doing this with purpose, but I don't know. I don't exactly know what's going to happen. Look at this. The beautiful thing about this, watch this. Okay, we just cut a sample, but that doesn't mean that we can't extend it more. But let's just say we wanted to do it like this. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so let's just say that's our bass drum. Okay, and I'm going to use, let's say, let's use a filter. Okay, let's use a filter and see what we can do. Maybe we can get something super bassy in a way. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Okay, so let's just say we like that, and I'm going to make a little pattern with this, guys. I can't believe what we're doing right now. This was not my plan. I'm going to be honest. I was not planning on dropping something like this today, but it is what it is. Let's copy this. Let's turn the snap on, and we're going to create a little bit of a drum pattern with this little thing that we've got going on. Let me mute this. Guys, this is too hilarious. Let's do it. Okay, let's leave that. Not what I expected. Okay. We'll use that loop for now. And we'll just, we'll loop for the duration. This will become nice, other than something classic, something legendary, kind of scary. This situation is a little hairy. Where's the power when you need them? Bring the magic bomb to succeed them. Succession. Thinking about wings of fire. Something is incredible. Inspired. Okay, let me go back. Hold on, let me go back. Guys, you guys are getting the sneak peek of all sneak peeks. Let me make sure I didn't do anything wrong on the first note. Okay, good. So that's what we've got so far. Now, because it's our bass drum, actually, let's go over here. Okay, so we've done one with the slicer, okay? And that's our main, dare I say main vocal sample. the main melody. So it's the lead. So I may add a little bit of chorus. Let's just see what we've got here. Yeah. I'm good with that for now. Again, super simple, guys. We're having fun. Okay. And we got our bass drum. So let's see if we can work this out a bit more. Yeah, tighten up. Make it a bit bigger. Okay. Alright. Let's do a little EQ. We got a lot of distortion here, some harmonics. Let's do some EQ. Let's see if we can push this out a little bit more. Sorry. If you hear me laugh a lot, I think you know why. Okay. And so what I may as well also do is let me insert above, just because we can insert above. I'm going to insert a, let me see. Okay, no. Let me think what I want to insert here. Whew. Let's do it. Get to it. So we got the bass. Let's just say that's our bass. We may actually add a bass drum to it later, but that's fine. Okay, so let's say that's our sample so far. Now what we can do is let me stop this. Or actually, let me mute those. No, let me keep the bass drum. So now I'm going to move this so that we have a clear spot. So this one here, we're going to look for another sample. So let's go through this and just listen to this sample right here. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so maybe that could be our snare drum. This part here. Let me take the snap off again. Zoom in a bit right there. I'm going to slice it. Right click, or again long press, right? And we're going to slice right there. So now we've got this part, and the snare drum, let's say, will end. The snare drum's going to end pretty quickly. Guys, this is going to be one of the most unique things you've ever heard, I've ever heard, we've ever heard. So let's just say that's our snare drum. So now we've got a snare drum or some type of balancer for this pattern here. Okay, let's go back to the beginning and let's mute this track here, and let's find let's see, 1 second. Okay. No, let me shorten this and bring it back like this and like that. Okay, yeah, exactly. Now that's our snare drum. I do, again, ridiculous methods, but I'm showing you some cool techniques. Okay, I think they're pretty cool, guys. Come on. Pretty unique. Let's add a little bit of bit crush to that. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll add a little bit crush to this as well to increase the intensity. Okay, so let's go back. Here we go. Okay, that's our pattern so far. Guys, you gotta love this one. All right. Oh, too soon. Okay. That's a little bit early. Okay, so you guys. So dare I say, there you go, right? So, sorry. I have to laugh. This is just hilarious. All right, so guys, I'm glad you guys stuck with me for this particular one, this funny strategy for creating your own samples as you will, as you choose. Let's drop this down a bit, make sure it's decent. Okay. And let's do a little bit more EQ on this thing to drop some of the bass in this one here. Let's drop some of the bass here. We could get the analyzer up, but I want this to be, snappier up here, maybe. Yeah, a little boxy-ish, but that's cool. So oh my goodness, guys, look, thank you for checking this one out. Okay, so if you guys like this video and its ridiculous nature and the sample that I used, fantastic experience, by the way, just to let you guys know if you haven't checked it out. Fantastic visual experience for those who want to take it back to the 80s, the early days of video games on television, things like that. So thank you guys for sticking around with this one. I don't know. I don't even know what to say, you know. Let me add a quick reverb on this, just some crazy trance delay. Okay. And I'm gonna add a quick multi-effects, get some reverb going on. Actually, let me do this. Let's do this default button. Okay. All right, guys, look, I appreciate you guys coming through to check this one out. Again, quickly recapping, we went over sampling, we went over the ability to use the slicer and how there are so many functions. Oh, we forgot to add this in too. Oh, how did I forget? I had a blast making this one. I'm glad you stuck around with me for this long experience, which is too much. But yeah. So auto and mono are very important. Of course, your sustain is important, and pitch shifting, so many cool functions here, as well as the ability to just take files, take songs, take sounds, and chop little bits. And then even if you happen to make a mistake or you make some changes, you can click on that and you can just drag it however you want. So that is beautiful, guys. Thank you so much for checking this one out, and I look forward to checking you guys. I look forward to checking you guys next time, all right? All the best, guys. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll check you guys in the next one. Again, winning with blends. All right, take it easy.